I want to take a moment today and talk about Obama nominating Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court and how the Republicans in the Senate do not want to have a hearing on him. They do not want to vote on whether he should or should not be a member of the Supreme Court. Well, I'm going to take a little bit of a different position here probably than most gun channels and say they do need to have hearings and they do need to vote on him, mainly so they can vote him down. Right now, by not having hearings, they're playing into Obama's game of making them look like obstructionists when I think they could clearly have a hearing on him and have very good reasons to vote against him. Merrick Garland has a very strong anti-Second Amendment record. He does not support the Second Amendment. He does not support the Second Amendment to the Constitution. Therefore, he does not support the Bill of Rights as far as I'm concerned. And to me, one of the most important things about a candidate for the Supreme Court is their stance on the Bill of Rights. They have to support all of the Bill of Rights, all of those first 10 amendments, especially the first and the second. I'm not too worried about the third or the seventh, but the first, the second, and the fourth especially. Any judge that had a history of supporting the First, the Second, and the Fourth Amendment would not allow things like infringements on free speech. They would not allow things like infringements on gun rights. They would not allow things like NSA wiretapping. They would not allow things like the Patriot Act, and so on. I also believe that a judge that adhered strictly to the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution wouldn't allow things like corporate personhood, where corporations can do unlimited things and work against the will of the people simply because they have a lot of money. But with this nominee, Merrick Garland, I can't say that because he's very clearly anti-Second Amendment. He supported the Clinton gun registry, which would be clearly unconstitutional if you ask me. He also supports rehearing Heller. He wants to reverse Heller. So he clearly is anti-gun rights. That alone is enough reason to vote him down in the Senate. So give him his hearing and vote him down. And then if the Senate wanted to be smart, which I'm not sure any of them in there are capable of being smart because they're politicians, and right now they just want to play politics instead of doing what's right for us. If they wanted to do what was right for us, they would use that advice part of the advice and consent of the Senate and actually start making some recommendations. Right now, Obama just wants to get someone appointed. He wants to get it over on the Republicans by appointing someone. So I say we help him do that. We help him appoint someone. The Senate needs to get together and come up with a list of candidates, and I don't care if they do it behind closed doors or whatever, and I don't care if they pretend to be against it when it comes time to vote, but they need to come up with a list of people that support the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution, people that support the Bill of Rights and have a record of doing so. And I don't care where they stand on peripheral things like choice. I don't care if they're anti-choice. Scalia's been anti-choice forever, and it hasn't taken away anyone's right to an abortion. So if this justice is anti-choice, I don't think it's going to make a difference. In fact, I would rather have a justice that had a very complex opinion of abortion, not a left or right or black or white opinion. I have a very gray opinion of abortion. I'm pro-choice, but I'm anti-abortion. I think there's times when abortion is okay, like the morning after pill. I have no problem with the morning after pill, something that actually prevents pregnancy. I have no problem with contraceptions. Contraceptions are a great thing. Prevent the pregnancy before it even happens. But I also think there's times that abortions are not okay. Like if the fetus has fingers or a brain. That's not abortion, that's murder as far as I'm concerned. And just because you made a bad choice, because you were irresponsible, you don't get to abort someone. You don't get to commit murder just because you made a mistake. And I also believe that there can be exceptions made when the life of the mother is at stake. But I think most of the time when the life of the mother is at stake, they would choose to go ahead and have the child because they care more about their child than they do their own life. I know I would risk my life for my children, and I feel that most parents would do the same. I also don't care how they feel on things like gay marriage, etc. Scalia was totally anti-gay marriage. So like I say, if this guy was anti-gay marriage, it wouldn't make a difference. However, I believe if anyone adheres strictly to the first 10 amendments of the United States, they're not going to deny anyone any rights. They're going to be like, let people do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting other people. As long as they're not violating anyone else's constitutional rights, they should have the right to do whatever they want to do as long as it's not against the law. I think if the Senate would just play smart right now, and like I said, use that advice part of advice and consent and make a list of people that were acceptable, I think Obama would play the game because he just wants to get someone nominated. He just wants to be able to say, I won in my last year of presidency. I did something important. And he doesn't have to make everybody on the left happy because he's not running again. He can't run again. So whoever he nominates doesn't have to make everyone, jump for joy. The guy he nominated now isn't, because a lot of his followers are upset because it isn't a black or Hispanic woman. So they're going to be unhappy anyway. So who cares if they're a little bit unhappy with whoever he chooses if they support the Constitution? I think in the end, we could all win if they played this smart instead of playing politics. If they decide to do what was right for the people, I think they could get a nomination to the Supreme Court that actually would serve the people. So come on, Mitch McConnell and the rest of the Senate, get off your asses and do your job. actually utilize that advice part of advice and consent and start coming up with a list that Obama can nominate that would be good for the people. Wouldn't be good for your political games, would be good for the people. And then once you find someone that you can both agree on that supports the Bill of Rights, vote on them. Get them in there. Because I'm telling you, if we play that game of, if we wait till Obama's gone, we'll get to a point of conservative, I don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is you're going to end up with Hillary Clinton and maybe even a few more Democratic senators, and you're going to end up with someone that's really, really bad for the people. This is a game that I don't think you're going to win. You're only playing it now for the sake of politics, and it isn't something you're going to win. What you need to start doing is playing smart and actually get somebody in there that people that follow you can agree on and people that follow Obama can agree on, at least the most of both parties. If 80% of the people that are Republicans agree and 80% of the people that are Democrats agree, who cares what the 20% on the fringe think? Stop worrying too much about the fringe and start worrying about the people, the mass of the people. So utilize the fact that Obama wants to get something done, that he doesn't have to appease everyone because he doesn't have to run again, and get somebody in there that supports the Constitution, and stop playing these games or we're going to end up with a Hillary appointee.
This message has been brought to you by independents that are sick of the bullshit on both sides of the argument. I'm the Yankee Marshal, and I endorse this message.